Good afternoon, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to Uctv Sports Link. Today is a Tuesday. Today is a Wednesday. Of course, we are in a new year, the 2nd of January 2024. You know, most times when the year is just kicking off, you normally forget maybe to pronounce the previous one. But of course, today we're going to be looking at a lot of things. Like I told you, the year started, of course, in high gear. Locally here, we've been having a lot of events that have been going on. Today, we've had the General Assembly, the FMU, General Assembly. Though I left, of course, the General Assembly is still going on, but of course, I'll be giving you some information that will be coming in from that side. The Star Times Uganda Premier League resumed yesterday with a couple of games. Today, we're also going to be having few games that are going to be played, so we're going to be basically looking into the league. That is the Star Times Uganda Premier League. Abroad, the Austrian Open, of course, is soon kicking off. We in preparations for this one. Like I told you, a couple of big names came back and they're going to be taking part in this Austrian Open. So we're going to be looking into that. They're not forgetting, of course, the transfer market is open, officially open. The one for January. So clubs are trying to exchange players going in from one club to another. Not forgetting also the Premier League, because we have a lot of clubs that are trying to be in action. Of course, the Liga also resumed. A couple of games were played yesterday, and even today we're going to be having some games that are going to be played. Ssemugenze Mustafa, my colleague, of course, Izcson Tega is also around, of course, to look into the sports world. Izcson, yes. Welcome back from the last year.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all the viewers of Uctv. It has been a year since I last saw them. That was 2023, and in this new year, that is 2024, it's my first time to appear. Okay. But hope you are doing well. We welcome you back to the new year, and we keep going forward with you, and we hope our sports show will still keep you enlightened or entertained with the latest trending sports updates that are making headlines. As Mustafa stated earlier on, I'm Izcson Tega, the sports encyclopedia. Okay,
Izcson, they are stated in high gear. Most of the club that you do support, that is Chelsea. I don't know how things are happening, even as of now. Do you think that, of course, in the new year, I think most of the people that are going to be very dimmed about the new year is Chelsea and I think Arsenal, because before the year was ending, Arsenal was almost on the top. But yes, of course, just in a gap of 2 days, 3 days, they are currently just in 4th position. Yes. Not even sure whether they will be staying there. So briefly, maybe I don't know how your year was towards the end.
I'm a very good fan of Chelsea FC, as you stated, and even here domestically or locally, I'm a fan of the Kasasiro boys. I don't know who had betrayed us locally and internationally. I've been suffering, but towards the end of the year, I think I've picked some morale. I ended the year in high gear. That is at KCCA. We had started winning games after appointing our new manager. That is manager Kakofira, Abdallah Mbiru, and Musiramu. And even at Chelsea FC, we ended the year with a win away at Luton Town. We had progressed in some of the League Cups to the semi-finals, that is the Carabao Cup, despite the fact that we are still in 10th position. But I hope maybe we could make some amendments.
All right, yesterday we had a couple of games that we played in the Star Times Uganda Premier League. Izcson, let's start with this game of Chitala. It seems like Chitala, of course, is deteriorating. They were beaten yesterday by Busoga United 2-1. I thought this could be their game, at least to show that no, they had just got maybe some things wrong in the previous games. But of course, they lost that one against Busoga United yesterday.
And on some of the biggest topic there, as journalists wrote upon it, that Busoga's tunes, that is Chitala FC, knowing that we would try our chances, as stated before, that everyone hoped that Chitala would go on to win on this game. First and foremost, the form they are in or the shape they are in and the facilitation they have. I've never seen a club, Mustafa, here using the name like MTN Mustafa FC. It is called Airtel Chitala FC. That means it has so much funding from Airtel and even from the kingdom itself. That's why it started brightly. We hadn't seen any team coming from the big league and start just winning games like that. Even amidst that loss, they are still in, that is in 2nd position, which is not so bad to the team that has just stopped or that has just emerged to the top guns or to the top boys. Playing against Busoga FC, this Busoga FC, you never know when it is going to win. If you read on that article, Busoga FC last beat, that is KCC, that is way back in November. It had gone 5 games without a win, but at the FUFA Technical Center, that's when they bounced back to winning ways. And we hope their anticipation, that is in the entire season, is not to win the title, but it's just to stay in the what? To stay in the league. And currently, when you check on them, I think they are above the relegation zone. So if at all they still continue with that, you never know. Maybe they can keep on that and they can progress or add on more results come the next season. But for Chitala FC, I think it's not all that a big surprise, reason being that most of the teams here in Uganda, it's very hard to win away. But what I think, Mustafa, they have still maintained the position, reason being that when they started out the first 5 games, they won all the first 15 games, all the first 5 games, merging to 15 points, and the competition was between them and Bull FC. I think Bull has kept the form, reason being that it has gotten more experience. If you check on the table, they currently have 32 points, that is the Bull. With 13 games played, they have managed to win 10. That means they have 1 more game. Chitala FC are currently second, that is with 26 points. That means if Bull wins today, they can merge, that is to 35 points, to build a 9-point gap, which I think there is no one can be able to merge that gap as per the times that I've watched Ugandan football. In that, in the standings they are in, or the shape they are in, they are just title favorites as per now.
All right, that's the game. Bright Stars yesterday, I think it shocked me because Maroons is one of those teams that have been performing well. Yeah, they have not lost any single game in the 5 previous games.
Yes.
So I didn't expect Bright Stars to win them. Yes, it was a 1-0 at home, but I thought maybe the biggest thing that Bright Stars could do is at least to get a point in this game.
Results sometimes are inevitable. Even the teams that we expect that they can win all games on the global scene, you find that the team they have lost against it, you don't even wonder. Like for instance, teams like Arsenal, where you expect that maybe when it goes to Anfield it will lose, then you lose out on Fulham.
AS Villa was able to beat UBDF 3-0. I think we could see the AS Villa of last season.
Yes.
Of course, even this season, I think they have very much improved. Scoring against UPDF 3-0, I think it's a result that maybe...
Earlier on, they started at a low profile. You remember, even we had times that we should sack the coach, things like that. But I think they got composure, and even the boys were talked too soft today to go ahead and replicate the previous performance they had when they lost out the title to the last game. First and foremost, they are heavily financed. That is Linglong Tires has invested much. That is in the team. Even besides that, the current owner, that is Mandela, we know is a very rich man. And upon support or as uplifting Ugandan sports, is one of the spearheads. I think SC Villa, they are not complaining about salaries and etc. Remember the other SC Villa and Express we had the previous 4 seasons ago. That's why the performances were almost not all that equal, relevant to what we expected out of them. They have composed the team, the players, I think they have the morale, and I think they have bounced back to winning ways. That game against UPDF, remember UPDF, Arua Hill, I think they are some of the poor performers so far this season. So when you get them and you are in a better shape, I think these are the teams that you opt to get points on. That is big man, that is Patrick Kakande, had a blessing this game, bouncing back to the score sheet. I hope with such performances or such results, currently SC Villa are sitting, that is in 3rd position, that is on 25 points, just 1 point shy of Chitala FCY in 2nd position. I think with such composure, maybe they can replicate the performance they had last season, and they can still build or even put more morale and performance to the fans who support Villa, since we all know that they are all-time league champions, who have held this title, that is 16 times.
All right, of course, that is AC Villa. Of course, we'll be giving you more that will be coming in from the club. Then Musiram yesterday was able to win the game. I think so far this is one of the best games that I've seen. KCC taking on URA.
Yes.
It reminds me of the KCC taking on Police FC. Remember that game?
Yes.
To the people that try out their chances, you could be very much sure that we will be having 5 goals to up because all these teams, of course, were playing flowing football. Yes. By the time Zabela Miru was coaching Police Football Club. Yes. I think you David Obo has created something very different, and I think something very entertaining, giving the young boys, of course, opportunity to play. I mean, Izcson yesterday, KCC was able to beat URA 3-2 in that game.
Earlier on, behind the camera, I talked to you that this URA, despite the fact that we have been in better shape, that is KCC, but it has been the hardest team for us to beat or to get a point on. Reason being that the coaches they have been having have been playing some different football away from KCC. You know, KCC, the norm is passing that ball. Yeah. So when you come into that tenure of you also passing the ball, it's very hard to get points away from KCC. So most of the teams that play against KCC, what they tend to do, that since these ones are masters of passing the ball, let me change the ball, let me make it physical, I uplift the game. So this time, Obua, one of the legends of Ugandan football, for him, what he brought on paper is the same style of play. Yeah. So when you bring such styles of play against KCC, it's very rare to get points away from them. And this is also the norm of Coach Musiram, that is Abdallah Mobiro, of passing the ball. Earlier on was even seconded by Mike Mutebi, that if KCC is to bounce back to winning ways, they should apply. That is Abdallah Mobiro. Earlier on, he started with the Ross. He got a win. He was also beaten. I think maybe the results or the notes had not gotten deep into the players. Now that has gotten the first 11, and even the boys have started to believe in themselves that they can do anything on paper against any team. Currently, they have won 3 consecutive games. You can really feel out. They have won 4 consecutive games. That means in the last 5 games, we have only lost 1 game, and we have won 4. That is a maximum of 12 points. That means the boys are back on trend, or they are back to winning ways. Currently, we are sitting in 9th position, that is with 19 points, but just 1 point away from a person who is in 7th position, that is URA. That means we have only 1 game left in the first round. I think when we win that game and reach 22 points, you may think out that KCC may finish even the entire season or this half season when we are like in 7th position, whereby the gap between the first or the chasing pack is not all that hard, that we could also even case up the case, depending on the performances that we had and even the state that the team was in. I think this is good performance for the team.
All right, of course, that's the game. KCC yesterday taking on URA Football Club, the game that was played yesterday, like I've told you, but of course KCC were able to win that game.
And this time, Mustafa, we're also just coming from down because earlier on, URA took the lead under Namanya, and then later on, KCC equalized again. Then URA again under Vian Sekajugo took the lead. However, also Vian Sekajugo helped KCC to score himself to make it 2-2. However, substitute, that is Shaban Muhammadi, the man who is also just scoring for fun, came off the bench and in the 72nd minute managed to score the winner, which helped KCC to continue with their winning goal.
All right, the last game, of course, Mbara City was able to get that home win against Wakiso Giants. The game, of course, ending 2-1. Today we're going to be having 3 fixtures. Arua Hills is going to be taking on Express Football Club. We all know, and if we see, and I don't think this can happen, because maybe the time before the head coach who is currently at Express, before he came to Express, maybe I could say that this could be a lose. But of course, Isabire, something that he has created at Express. And the thing that we know that is currently happening at Arua Hills, I don't think that we could see Arua Hills, of course, shocking Express at home.
Or only maybe the referee makes some yellow cards or some red cards in this game, like in the early minutes.
Because Izcson, even the last game Arua Hills played, they were not able to put in 11 players. They only fielded only 8 players on the field. Imagine. That's the reason that's why they were even given 7 goals to only 1 by Chital.
I think this game, the fact that is Isabire, earlier on when it started, He first lost the game, he drew a game. Reason being that was a new manager coming to a new team. First and foremost, you haven't gotten the players' styles of play. You've not fitted the players to their current positions. You don't know what Mustafa can deliver. You don't know what Izcson can deliver. You don't know even the style of play. First and foremost, you want to implement your style of play into the team. That means you have less time to do all that in the minutes time. So as per now, as he kept on getting experience on the team, the boys started believing in him, and even his tactics, I think, are now currently being understood. That is by the what? By the players. That's the reason why even right now they are winning games convincingly. I don't think maybe they can lose against this team, as you stated earlier on, Arua Hill. I think this is the time for Arua Hill to be relegated. This time in this campaign, their performance is relatively null.
All right, Gaddafi at home, they are going to be hosting Bull. I think this is a Ginger Derby.
A Ginger Derby.
Of course, a Musoga Derby. Gaddafi being at home, but of course, you all know how Abe Chikomeko has returned, of course, Bull to something that is very, very good.
Currently, they are the big boys that is in the league. Played 13, won 10, just drawn once and even beaten once. You can really feel out that they are the form they are having right now is beyond reasonable doubt. Previously, they went to St. Mary's Stadium, one of the stadiums that most people fear, that when we go there, that's Seros, but managing to put 3 goals past the Vipers convincingly, and earlier on, they first led 2-0.
And they are one of the reasons as to why the coach was sacked.
And they are one of the reasons why the coach was sacked. I think, unless otherwise, because football, it's a season, the matches are many, so you never know what may happen. But as per now, I think they are the team to beat. They can win against any opponent. And I think in this Ginger Derby, they have the bragging rights to go ahead. And even if Gaddafi is at home, I know Gaddafi is good. They can play some good football more so when they are at home, but I think when you are playing against a big opponent like this Bull, I think maybe they want to deliver the trophy for the first time to go to the Eastern region.
All right, another game, Vipers at home. They're going to be hosting NEC. I think this is going to be a very, very hard time for Livingstone Barbers. His first game taking on NEC. We all know how NEC, of course, has been this season. Of course, it's their first season, by the way.
It's their first season. Currently, they are sitting around, is it in the 5th position?
Yeah, of course, in the 6th position.
In the 6th position.
Vipers in 5th position. I mean, it's actually this game, Livingstone Barbers, it's his first game in charge of Vipers.
It's his first game. I heard him, there is a statement he made. Maybe some people were criticizing upon his appointment at the Vipers, and he said that I'm a big coach. But you know, football, sometimes you don't only say statements, results are gotten on the pitch. So being big, you have to replicate it with performances that is on the pitch or with results. I cannot say that Livingstone Barbers is not a good coach. For the time I've seen him, previously national team player, was a midfielder. I had him most when he was at Timbalala City. You remember that Timbalala City that had more performances. I think even in the first season or when he was there, they finished like 4th. It's during his time that star players like Muchurezi even emerged to prominence after departing from that is KCCA. I think he has gotten the notes, but where he has been, that is at Arua Hills, the team has not been performing better. But he has an excuse in that the team has not been well financed. Even players have been arguing over their salaries, and even other things are behind the headlines or behind the scene. So coming to a team like Vipers, where I think that everything is there for you, is in print, and your only thing is to deliver results, that is on the table.
And it is the only thing they want at Vipers.
And the only thing they want at Vipers.
The big boss doesn't know about losing.
That's why you can even sack like 5 coaches. There is a certain fan, one of my viewers on one of my socials told me that, Izcson, why is it that this boss keeps on sacking coaches at any time? And I told him that if you're a big man and you have your money, it doesn't make any loss him sacking. And the coach, first and foremost, he has the money to pay any upcoming coach, and you also has been sacked. You are paid for your remaining your remaining balance. So coming at Vipers, I think it is a big statement that is for Livingstone in Babazi. This is the top job, like in Ugandan football. If you are at KCCA and you are at Vipers, you are the summit of the Ugandan League. So results should be your backline. So if you don't give results, so this is a statement. Against NEC, it's not an easy opponent. Reason being that this NEC is a very good team. They host their matches, that is at the Star Times Stadium, but currently they will be away at St. Mary's Stadium, where I think also NEC have gotten the confidence that if at all other teams can come here and get wins and even go withdraw, why not me? I think NEC can make a statement today, given the fact that Livingstone in Babazi has gotten less time. You've been just appointed 1 day ago or 2 days ago, so you're having a fixture the following day. So I think the same statements or the notes that people are having of the former coach who was there, that is the Portuguese, who was replaced some 7 days ago, and then last this one who was beaten as an interim coach. I think Vipers are still shaky. Anything can happen. I don't replicate them or offer them a win, but I think maybe they can go for a draw against this game.
All right, those are the games that are going to be played today in the Star Times Uganda Premier League. Of course, we'll be giving you more that will be coming in. That is from that side. We're going to be going to a short break. After the break, of course, we'll be coming back. Like I told you, a lot is happening on the international scene. The Australian Open is coming back. Currently, of course, players are in their qualifiers for this tournament. So let's go into a short break. After the break, of course, and we come back, talk about that. All right, Rafael Nadal is one of the players, of course, that is expected to be taking part in the Australian Open. Izcson, if you do remember, Rafael Nadal, he got an injury, of course, in this same tournament. So he has been out for almost a year. But of course, he came back. I saw Novak Djokovic talking about him, and he says that, of course, he hopes that maybe he comes back and be competitive the way he was at 36 years of age. And of course,
37 now.
37, yeah. And of course, we know how physical, of course,
this game is.
This game is. Should we expect maybe Rafael Nadal to come back and even maybe get a Grand Slam?
Those men, their talents is beyond reasonable doubt. Reason being that even right now at 36, that is Novak Djokovic is still the big gun that is in tennis. You never know what he can offer in this game. He came back and he had a game. Earlier on had returned when he was in the mixed doubles. They lost. However, his first individual game, he managed to win against Dominic Thiem, who is also a big name in this game.
He was a big name, Izcson. He's one of those young stars, by the way.
And you talked about him earlier on that will emerge victorious. But I think injuries maybe have disturbed him most. So he had a win against him. I think maybe can bounce back to winning ways. But we'll be starting, that's around in the third round in the Australian Open, which is most dominated, that is the big man, Novak Djokovic. I don't know whether I can still come and put such a good competition against him. Reason being that currently, Novak Djokovic is the top scorer with Grand Slams, that is 24. In all category, because earlier on they were tied with Rafael Nadal on 22. He managed to win 2 more extra Grand Slam titles to merge the great Margaret Court. So he only has to win this one to become, I don't know whether he will become the greatest of all time, but will become the top scorer with Grand Slam titles, that is at 25. So it's going to be a good contention, also with big names like Rafael Nadal in. First and foremost, his inclusion into that is the tournament, domestically like or internationally, it puts the value of the competition, big sponsors, big revenue and etc. and even fans of Rafael Nadal, because earlier on they were the big two that is in the game, him and his former compatriot who retired, that is Roger Federer at 38. I think maybe him also coming back, the fans still expect more from him. Remember, is the dominant force that is in the French Open, who has won it multiple times. So we think maybe can add on that. But right now the competition I think is very stiff. Fresh from an injury against the big boys who are there, I think maybe it could be quite hard. But still the competition does not stop. Even if you are beaten on the quarterfinals or in the semi, what you add on is the flavor, experience, and all in all to give us such a good competition.
All right, that guy that is seeing on your screen, Rafael Nadal, like, of course, like I'm talking about him, he said, of course, he expecting that this is going to be his last year. But of course, if it is very good for him, don't be shocked if you see him next year again coming back, of course, to compete if he's not disturbed by so many injuries. So let's wait and see how he's going to be, of course, performing. That is when it comes to the Australian Open that is just going to be kicking off. Then, of course, a lot of players by the way back. Emma Raducanu, I saw her, of course, coming back. He's also going to be taking part. So a lot of big players are going to be taking part in this tournament. So we'll be giving you more that will be coming in from that side. Izcson, in La Liga, yesterday, there was that game, Getafe taking on Real Volcano. This is where, of course, Mason Greenwood is. He got his first real red card. That is, of course, at this club. And, of course, the club got 3 red cards. So far, they have the most red cards in a year. In the entire teams, of course, in the top 5, also in Spain. I don't know what is happening, of course, this side, but of course it was an interesting game.
At Getafe?
Getafe.
Yesterday they were beaten, that is by Rayo Vallecano. That was 2-0. Given the fact that Getafe are in a better position compared to Rayo Vallecano, but I think the red cards impacted the game. Getting a red card within the first 45 minutes of the game, I think can count to the result of this game. Only if maybe you are playing against in a weak tire team, but if you are still in the same competition with a red card earlier on, it can impact performance. But the fact that also Mason Greenwood, in this game, he did not appear Mustafa, he did not appear in the game. However, the boys, he has added more flavor to the team, reason being that in the past 15 games that he has played for Getafe, he has managed to score 5 goals. After being out of football, that is for 18 months, I think returning back with 5 goals, it showcases what a talent he has. Is one of the outcomes of that is the Manchester Academy. I think has played football to the maximum, and we have felt out his talent at Getafe. Reason being that has managed 5 goals out of 15 games and has also managed 4 assists. That is not a poor statement or a poor performance to a young boy at 22 years of age who has been depressed by many, not only injuries, but I think world matters that have affected his football. Domestically in England, he was not given time to play in Manchester United, his first team, over such allegations of mistreat of his girlfriend. So when Getafe gave him an opportunity to play in the La Liga, I think has not failed the performances, has hyped his game with 5 goals, that is the 4 assists, which is such a tremendous performance. You never know, maybe if Manchester United can still bounce him back or can call him back to still add more flavor. Reason that the position he's playing in is one of the worst positions that Manchester United is having at the time. So if at all he's thought about in this game, maybe can improve on performance, add more flavor to the likes of last month's Hojland, who only have 1 goal in 15 games. I think that is such a poor statement. So if at all they think upon his discipline, that upon discipline, what does he offer on the pitch that is good? Why can't we still give him opportunity? But statement from Manchester are saying that this is not the right time for him to continue playing at Manchester United. But good of it, his loan spell is still on, and even at Getafe is a top tier team. I think can also still continue playing from that side, or even any other big team can still come for him, and he continues with his future.
All right, 3 players got 3 players, of course, got a red card in this very game. Centre back, that is, of course, Suarez, Mason Greenwood, and Joao Miletasa all got, of course, red cards into this game. So this means that they are going to be missing that Copa del Rey game that they will be having next against Espanyol. So let's wait and see how this is going to be impacting, of course, on this team. That is, of course, yesterday. Then yesterday we had a game in the English Premier League. Of course, we had a Brighton yesterday taking on West Ham United. Of course, I saw this one even before it started, though I feared to try out my chances that this could be a draw. West Ham is one of those teams that has been performing well, but of course you cannot also take away the fact the Brighton have also been very good.
Brighton would even be in a far better position compared to the position they are in now, Mustafa. Currently, they are sitting 7th, that is in the Premier League table. West Ham are sitting 6th in the Premier League table on 34 points, and also Brighton are just on there with 31 points, just ahead of Manchester United, who are sitting 8th with just goal difference. Reason being that for them they have a positive, whereas the neighbors, that is Manchester United, have negative goal difference. Coming into this game, I'll just take some small reminder to the first fixture that happened, that is at the Amex Stadium, that is the American Express Stadium, where West Ham for the first time in the Premier League history got a win against Brighton. They managed to win the first fixture, that was 3-1, but earlier on in the reverse fixtures, Brighton had upper advantages over West Ham that I think beyond that, even this draw they had yesterday, I think it was the second draw. Most of the games they were playing against Brighton, Brighton was just winning. But coming into this game, West Ham were in better shape, reason being that they had beaten two big opponents, winning against Manchester United and winning against title contenders Arsenal, and then losing against Brighton, who I think that they are a mid-team table. I think it could be quite very poor for David Moyes. That's why he tried out his level best to make sure that this team can get back to bouncing ways and still continue with their tremendous form of at least earning a point in this game. Reason being that when they came into this game, they had gotten that is 6 points. That is from Manchester United and even from Arsenal with the same performances or with the same scoreline. Despite the fact that they are missing out some players, captain that is Kurt Zuma is out or is sidelined because of an injury, and before then the influential man, your big man, that is the rugby man, Mikel Antonio, the man who has power, who has pace, is also sidelined because of any injury, but still that one did not stop West Ham still continuing with their tremendous form. Despite the fact that they were ejected out of the Carabao Cup with Liverpool, that was 5-1, but upon qualification, that is in the Premier League, they have still kept the form, and I think it's a very good performance. That is to Moyes, who was sacked from Manchester United, went to Spain, things were not going on very well. I was brought to Manchester United after coming on as the chosen one, after having good spells at Everton, but trying out his chances in a bigger team, things did not go on well. But I think it was just unlucky in that the time he came in, it was when the big man had just left. But if at all he had come during this time when we are just trying out the Mustafa, the Izcson, the others, etc., would still be a coach at Manchester United. And as showcased performance, reason being that this West Ham team that sold out Declan Rice at £100 million, where we thought that it would be struggling with the form. In the Europa League, they are topping the group and they have qualified to the next round. In the Premier League, they are sitting in 6th position. What else can West Ham ask for beyond being 6th in the table? I think it's a very good performance. That is from David Moyes.
All right, that's of course a game that was played yesterday when it comes to the StarTimes Uganda Premier League, like I've told you. But of course yesterday we had a couple of other big games, like I've told you, that were played. Of course in England it was only one, the one I've told you about, but of course we're going to be having other games that are going to play today, not in the Premier League, but of course in La Liga. That's where basically we're going to be having a couple of big games that are going to be played. That is, of course, that side. Granada will be taking on Cadiz. It's one of the games that is going to play today. Then we shall be having, of course, Celta Vigo taking on Real Betis. Real Madrid today is in action, taking on Monaco. Then Girona, one of the teams that has become a problem, of course, at home. They're also going to be taking on Almeria. I don't know whether Girona, of course, will be up against this one, Izcson, because the previous game, at least, it didn't, it wasn't well for them in their last game. So should we see maybe Girona doing something against Atletico de Madrid? I think they have to beat Atletico to pose a point that at least this season
currently
they
are 11 points. That is with Real Madrid on 5 points. Real Madrid are just ahead by only goal difference. I think maybe coming to this game, Girona, no one expected them to be to this level where they are. The previous biggest highlight is when they went at Camp Nou and convincingly beat, that is Barcelona 4-2. They lost against Real Madrid. I think there are some of the losses that they have in this competition. This team has gone beyond reasonable doubt that where we didn't expect them is where they have reached. Current level with Real Madrid on points, that is on 45 points, and we think maybe anything can happen. Currently, Mustafa, we have teams that have changed, that is the top 5 leagues. We have the likes of Bayer Leverkusen, that is in Germany. We have Girona here, who are also making tremendous efforts. You never know, any of the two can go ahead and surpass or the inevitable lions like the likes of that is Bayern Munich or even Real Madrid. If at all you can go at Barcelona and convincingly get like a 4-2 win, I think you can be able to beat any opponent. But the biggest game also I think is Real Madrid against Morocco. Real Madrid, if they are to put a gap that is at the top of the table, they convincingly have to beat that is Morocco. Star boys, the likes of Jude Bellingham, currently top scorer that is in the La Liga with 13 goals. The likes of Vinicius Jr. are not yet back. Reason being that they have still some injuries. The likes of Rodrigo is also just scoring for fun. The likes of Joselu, the likes of Toni Kroos, and even in the midfield, the likes of Rudiger. I think Real Madrid are in better shape to contest for this competition this time, despite the fact that also Girona is having some good performances. But all in all, towards the end of June, out to the start of June, that's when we'll wind up and see who has emerged victorious.
All right, Izcson, Wayne Macaroni, before going into the break, Wayne Macaroni was sacked just after 15 games in charge. This is the second time I think he's being sacked in England. Before he went to DC United. So this is the second time.
Earlier on, he started out at Derby County. He was sacked. Later on, he was given a job given a job in America. Things did not go on well. Currently, they first sacked the coach. That was around November. October. Was around October. That was called John Ostans, who was sacked. But the time they sacked him, was sitting in 6th position, and then they appointed Wayne Rooney because of the name and legacy at 38 years of age. First and foremost, that is at St. Andrews Stadium, that is the stadium for Birmingham. They knew that bringing in Wayne Rooney with his name, maybe it could improve on the revenue of the team, and even the funds. Maybe they can tap into the funds of Manchester United to make sure that this Birmingham can grow to the heights beyond what they expect.
And even the numbers.
Yeah,
because Wayne Rooney has big numbers. But sometimes, as you stated before, that football is not only talked about like on TV, making analysis, but you should also bring results at the pitch. After 15 games, he managed only 2 wins. He has collected 10 points in the 15 games. That means has won twice, those are 6 points, and has even drawn, that is 4 times out of the 15 games. Currently has left the team. Meaning that he has been beaten in 9 games.
Has been beaten 9 times. Has left the team that is in the 20th position. 6 points shy of relegation relegation zone. So also the owners said that before we continued with this Wayne Rooney, despite the fact that it has a big name, we could also see our team being taken to another tier, which is not also easy. So let us at least just sack him in good terms, because even him, after being sacked, he says that I welcome the opportunity that was given to me, and he said that football is also meant on results. Since the results were not coming on my side, I accept that the owners, that is the American owners, have sacked me. I will take a break, that is in football management, me and my family, as I look for the future of my career, or what may come next, or when I get another opportunity. All
right, Wayne Macaroni, 38 years of age. Let's wait and see what is going to be next in his football coaching career. Let's go into a short break. After the break, of course, we'll be coming back, give you some news that are coming in from your various teams. All right, welcome back from that commercial break. You're still watching Uctv Sports Link. From Manchester United, Izcson, Jadon Sancho, according to the news that is coming in from that side, he may join Borussia Dortmund. Ever since Erik ten Hag came at this club, they have not been in good terms with the coach. But of course, he also was able to stick on his terms that he wanted, something that maybe brought out action between him and the coach. But of course, I think he has not done something good at the club. So I don't know, him joining back Borussia Dortmund, should we see him maybe even getting that place at the England national team? Because he had a place, but as of now, he has no place.
Then you cannot have a place when you are not playing. It's not like us here in Africa.
In Uganda.
You find a player has no team or not attached even to a team, and is a starter benching even some players who have been on form. So for other foreign leagues, it's quite different from ours. Jadon Sancho, when you take some 3 years back or some 4 years back, was one of the biggest hopes, that is, of European football.
Yeah.
We thought that even could compete for Ballon d'Or during his partnership, that is in Borussia Dortmund, when they had the likes of, that is, Erling Haaland, the likes of Jude Bellingham and Jadon Sancho, were some of the promising talents that we had, that is on planet Earth.
Yeah.
However, when big teams came in for them, others have tried out to be successful. That is Erling Haaland at Manchester City, and even Jude Bellingham is becoming the highlight of La Liga. Jadon Sancho coming to Manchester United earlier on, I think maybe he chose the wrong team. Reason being that sometimes, Mustafa, the style of play in a team could impact or detract your performance. Reason being that Manchester United's style of play is not all that aggressive. They like to defend first, and then they can get you on a break.
And they counter-attack.
On counter-attacking football. If at all that Jadon Sancho had come to teams like Arsenal, I think would be a big star. Had he come to a team like Tottenham Hotspur, would be a big star, or even at Manchester City, or even gone outside of England, Bayern Munich, or even Real Madrid, or even Barcelona. But coming at Manchester United, things did not go on well. First and foremost, at Manchester United, or to clubs that like defending on counter-attacking system, what they want in you may fail to refer it on paper. Reason being that they want an attacking player who can attack as well as defend. So when your motive is only attacking and you give us less during times of attack, you may find that even a less talented player who is on the bench but can deliver that can put you on the bench, and they start him, reason being that has more to offer on paper. And even with those challenges he had with the coach, you know, when you have the coach, issues with the coach is the one who makes the list of the people who are going to play. So if you have bad terms with me, who is going to select the players, how can I put you on my first team? That's why he fell out with the team. And maybe an option or getting back to Borussia Dortmund would be quite better. Reason being that Borussia Dortmund right now, they are also struggling. They are aiming for that biggest star who can uplift the team. Last season they missed out, that is on the Bundesliga, on the last day. By themselves after failing to win against the last game. So they lost out Jude Bellingham, who was the biggest highlight in the team. So bringing back Jadon Sancho, you know, in Uganda they said that where you've left without issues with the bosses, it's quite better for you to return back. I think that's the opportunity why Borussia Dortmund is aiming for him, and I think will guarantee him opportunity more so that we have limited time to go to the Euro Championship that will be in Berlin.
All right, again in Manchester United, Sergio Reguilon, who was, I think, one of the players that was good, maybe, like Muruganda Inzogamba, Okube Chiraka.
As a substitute.
As a substitute, of course. But of course, he went back. Of course, he's going back at Tottenham Hotspur because his loan contract ended. I don't know whether this is good news at Manchester United, because I think he was doing some great work there.
Great work at where?
Of course, in the back at Manchester United.
At Manchester United. First and foremost, reason being, the reason why I think they have Tottenham have hurried to bring him back. You know, Tottenham is having issues with injuries, Mustafa, more so from the defense. The likes of Christian Romero, who I think is their biggest headline, that is in the defense, got an injury, and we don't know when he's coming back. So bringing him back could be another option to limit on the number of players who are on injury, so could also come in to serve as a replacement for the players who are not out. Currently, they will be missing out, or that is on their biggest man, that is the captain himself, that is Heung-min Son, who has gone to represent, that is Korea, South Korea, in the Asian Championship. So currently, Tottenham things are not all that well. That's why they want to bring back their players. And currently, Mustafa, also big teams who are aiming for titles in their teams, it's rare for them to set out their big players currently during this January transfer. It only comes, that is during the summer transfer. So as per now, it's rare for a team to give out a big star or to set out a big star. That's why teams who have players who are on loan and they have performed well and they are in maybe they still need them it's time for them to call them back to come and represent out the team. That's why Region, I think, would be a biggest impact. That is Tottenham's side, who are fighting, that is for either fourth position or even for the title.
All right, Thomas Partey, maybe one of those players that was expected to be going on the Ghana national team. Of course, he was left out of the squad. Izcson, the Africa Cup of Nations is going to be, of course, a very big thing. Sorry, a very bad thing to some of the clubs in England. Of course, Thomas Partey, I think, was expected to be going, but I think it's very good news for the Arsenal fans because he started training, though he's not fully fit to be playing. But of course, he's back and he's not going to be participating for Ghana in the AFCON.
I think Thomas Partey is one of the luckiest players, reason being that earlier on they even had the moves of selling him, but on his return, the team has started to perform poor. That is Arsenal Football Club. So I think maybe Arsenal fans would be quite better. Or there are others who say that if at all Thomas Partey was in that position, we would be performing better compared to what we have been performing. But when they have been winning, they say that even if he stays on the bench, but currently that the team is not performing better, I think is a very good opponent, maybe to come in as a replacement. I think it's good news for Arsenal fans that has started training, and the fact that has not gone with the Ghanaian team that has started training, I think it could be a good impact in their title chase. Reason being that they had started to lose form as to their biggest thing that they want, that is the Premier League. So him coming back into the first team or training, I think could be some of the leading affairs for Arsenal's return to form. And I think he's one of the top performers. Everyone knows that he's a top class player. There is no doubt upon that.
All right, tomorrow, like I told you, the transfer market is officially open. I think tomorrow we'll be giving you more that will be coming in from your clubs. Of course, clubs have started looking into other camps to see that they strengthen, of course, their team. Izcson, maybe if you have anything that we've left out, otherwise time is again.
Maybe to the Liverpool fans, that is their biggest man, Mo Salah, is not there. Maybe it could be time for them to struggle because I don't think this Kode Gakpo and Darwin Núñez can fit into the boots of what the Egyptian king delivers. So it could be also opportunity for the chasing pack, that is Arsenal, Aston Villa, even Manchester City. So Liverpool have only to play that maybe Egypt does not go beyond the group stage.
Which is very difficult.
So that he can bounce back to continue with his flourishing form. But I would just like to give out to the fans or to the viewers of Uctv that thanks for watching. As always, I'm Izcson Tega, the Sports Encyclopedia.
All right, of course, we shall be tomorrow, the same time, and of course, same place. But of course, otherwise, we're going to be wishing you a very good evening and have a nice and lovely week.